Naughty Threads presents KRFK. Live the Rock.
That is Paralyzed, the title track and one of the recent singles from the new album from Black Swan, featuring, of course, Robin McAuley, one of our favorite all-time vocalists, good friends of mine, Reb Beach, Matt Starr, Jeff Pilson, and what a fantastic new release. The hits just keep on coming, and I'm welcoming Robin McAuley to the station, to the show, to the other platforms that we're broadcasting on right now. Hello, Robin. Great to see you.
Good morning, Ron. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. How are you guys?
We're great, man. For those of you that can't see this, you're listening on the radio. Robin looks great, as usual. And it's a question of longevity, man. Not just singing well. For all these years, all these albums, all these decades of great voices and great vocals and great songs and albums, but still driving the women crazy.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, no, Robin, of course.
I drive my wife crazy.
And speaking of your wife, our greetings and love to Gina. Renee knows that I'm downstairs talking to Robin McAuley right now, and she gets all like,
give her a big hug. How's she doing? She's good.
She's doing great, man. She gets very excited when she knows I'm talking to Robin McAuley. Gives me some cred in the house, so I appreciate that.
Well, more chores for you today.
Well, thanks so much for not only being here to talk about it, but this great new album. We're already 3 singles deep. Another single drops soon. I'm Ready, coming soon on the release date, which has been changed to February 27th. Yeah. Now, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, album number 3 from Black Swan?
That's right. Album number 3, yeah.
And speaking of longevity, I mean, did you realize when you and Jeff and Matt and Reb put this project together that it would be an ongoing, continuous process of creating and recording new music?
No, of course not. You know, I think out the gate, everybody went, well, here we go. This is just another Frontiers project, you know, a mix mash of different bands, throw them together, knock out some tunes and say la vie, that'll be the end of it. I've known Jeff. I think you know. I've known Jeff a very, very long time. Jeff was best man at our wedding. You know, and we'll be 34 years married this year.
Wow!
I knew him. I knew him when he did the last studio record with MSG together with the late and great James Kotak. And I met them at some club in Hollywood, and we became great friends. And then Jeff, of course, was out with Michael and myself on the Unplugged section, the US section of the Unplugged period. You know, we got into it. Jeff called me. He goes, "Hey, Serafina wants to put a super group together," and I hate all that stuff. I just do. I started laughing at Jeff, and I went, "You can't be serious, dude." He goes, "Yeah. You know, let call it whatever they want." He said, "But I spoke to Reb. Reb did the tooth and nail with Dokken, and you're the only singer I want to talk to. Let's do this. Just say yes." And I said, "I'll say yes if you say that yes to playing bass." And he said, "No, I'm just going to be kind of a producer / I'll help out with some of the songwriting, and I'll kind of be like an overview on the thing." And I went, that doesn't work for me. And so we started writing, a long story endless, and of course he put down the bass parts, which were killer. And I'm going, "You're not replacing this with another guy." So Reb and I sort of kicked him around the room a little bit, and here we are. You know, Ron, the thing was we just wanted to write good songs. We didn't want any of the titles behind it. We didn't even have a name for the band. Kip Winger came up with a name for the band. Wow. Because we started writing when it was just sort of right around COVID, you know, and I know that Kip was talking to Reb, and he goes, "You know, Black Swan actually means it talks about economy. It's like a bad economy. Something's happening in the world, blah blah blah." He goes, "Cool name for a band, dude," and we had come up with the most god awful names. I mean, awful.
All the good band names are taken, man. It's tough to find a good band name these days.
And then some, but everything's got a black in it, right? Like this, like that. We wanted to call it Black Sabbath, but somebody else took that. Anyway, Reb came back and he goes, Black Swan, and we just went, that's kind of cool. It has black in it. We'll take it.
How much more blacker could it be?
I mean, how much more black? The answer is none.
None more blacker. None more blacker Swan.
Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just enjoying the conversation. I'm speaking with Robin McAuley.
We ran with it?
What now?
No, I was losing you there for a minute, I think. I think if I wave my hands too much, Zoom goes, hold still, for God's sake.
We have to be careful with the hand movements, and we're talking to Robin McAuley on KRFK Radio, the Ron Keel podcast, and rfkmedia.com. And so the original concept was to do a single release or an album. How have you kept that fire burning in the years since that initial release and decided, hey, let's do another one? Let's how does that process unfold through the years now with album number 3?
A small thing called a contract.
I know Serafino and Frontiers and how they roll and all that, man. If they make you an offer you can't refuse, you try to get out, they put you back in.
Yeah, and the funny thing was when we shot 2 videos. We shot a video for Paralyzed, the current single, and we also shot it for, we shot If I Was King at the same time. And then Jeff said, you do know we have to do another record. And I went, oh, we do? He goes, yeah, because when we signed the contract, it didn't include the first record. It says this record plus 3 records.
Oh.
So
you got to read the fine print, man. Got to read the fine print.
There will be another record. And, you were asking about how we sort of, transitions one to the other in an odd kind of way with pandemic. And when we did write that Shake the World, the first record, title was kind of in par with what was going on at the time because, things were rattling.
Shake
and
the world, absolutely.
And not rolling. Yeah, and not rolling very much. And when we moved into Generation Mind, I, for one, was certainly, and still am, of the idea that people were never the same post-pandemic. Just people had a whole different mindset. People were thinking different. There seemed to be less respect. There seemed to be less give a shit for anything after the pandemic. And so we rolled into it and we had a bunch of songs. And I had one tune that I came with and Jeff goes, I really like the idea of calling this Generation Mind. And of course, the whole thing fitted. It was like there was a whole new way of thinking post-pandemic. And I came up with the whole idea of they usually leave the artwork to me. I mean, I work with Stan Decker, who is one of the most amazing artists on the planet. And Stan doesn't need my help, but he usually goes, well, what ideas do you have? And I had this whole idea of the plague doctor because of the pandemic where they used to wear these masks and all that sort of stuff. And I wanted something kind of steampunky. I wanted the same sort of colors that was in the movie Alien. And that's kind of where we worked around it. But lyrically, it all seemed to fit in without being a concept. I hate the whole idea of concept. And here we are, record number 3. And everybody goes, well, why Paralyzed? And I'm going, well, I have to bring it up that there was a great archaeological find in China called the Terracotta Warriors, where I think it was, I can't pronounce his name, so I'm going to get shot. But a very famous Chinese emperor had died, and he wanted to have a tomb where he was completely guarded by all of his warriors. I think he had like 8,000 of these terracotta warriors with chariots and all of that sort of. Anyway, it was uncovered by some fruit farmers in perfect condition, and they were all lined up as they do in military style. And I just thought, what a great idea for the Swan. We just paralyze it because the world is kind of in this paralysis. We're going, are we going this way? Are we going that way? There's a lot of, it looks like we don't make any ground, and kind of grabbed some of those ideas. And I spoke to Stan and I went, put us out on a big ice skate. Do this. I sent some images. And when the ice melts, maybe at that point we'll know which direction we're taking. And voila, we have Paralyzed. And of course, I said to Stan, these guys are going to hate me because they leave it with me. And I said, when I send it to you, it's right up to the wire, usually. And if you hate it, I don't know, we have time to go back and come up with something else. No, it'll be fine.
That's one way to get your way, is wait until the deadline.
Oh, right.
Fantastic how you created that evolution of Black Swan, visually, from the imagery, and lyrically, in that paradigm shift from COVID until now. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and it you would immediately think, oh, a concept. It's not a concept. It was just how it seemed to, how it just flowed. There was and also lyrically, with the band, the songs, there was a steady progression. And I think album number 3, we know what we like to do. Reb loves melody. Reb loves good lyrics. Jeff the same. Jeff comes to me and he goes, "What's the story on this one?" and it's a lot of pressure, Ron, because for me personally, Reb is such a great songwriter. He has such a history with Winger, writing all those great tunes. Jeff needs no mention at all because great production, great engineer, great writing, great bass player. Where it's like, and then they send me a bucket load of songs, and I'm going, what am I supposed to do with this?
Well, they send you songs, and Reb is the ultimate riff master. I mean, the riffs he's created in all of his projects, from Winger to Black Swan and everything in between, go without saying. They send you the music and the riffs, and you are tasked with putting vocals and melodies to those pieces of music.
That's, and it's not an easy task. And yes, we make some tweaks as we go and everything, because Reb's hilarious. He'll go, you're singing a major over that minor chord. I'm just a singer, dude. What do I know? And that's the kind of humor that's in it. And then sometimes he go, when you hit that note there, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I like it when you hit that note better. Let's do more of that. And so those kind of little tweaks he's really good at. But I think especially also for me, he plays these amazing runs, and he's got all the flash, he's got all of that. But what he does for me is, at the end of it, he always comes out with like this mushroom, this great melodic riff at the end of all of this stuff that he does. And I'm going, that's what I really like about it. It's he always ties it together, and
it's a huge challenge. Putting lyrics to that music. And Reb is one of those guitar players where you can break his riffs down to the very simplest of equations, to where it's kind of 3 chords, and he's putting hundreds of notes and inflections and things into those chords. And when I know he's classically trained, so when he gives you any crap about that in the future, just say those are accidentals. That's what we call them in classical music. When you're singing a major over a minor, it's an accidental, and that way it's accepted, right?
I remember that. Yeah. And if you knew Reb like I know him, he goes, yeah, but.
I don't know him as well as you do, but he holds the record for the most projects played on one episode of my radio show. We had his solo album, his White Snake, his Winger, this is before Black Swan, but I'm a huge fan of all the guys in the band, and interested as always in the process of how that goes down. We've talked in our last couple of interviews over the last several years about your vocal process, recording these albums at home or in the studio with your producer. How has that changed, or has it changed?
No, it hasn't. Whether it's with Black Swan or any other project, I usually, the music lands on my laptop. It's a very simple setup for me. I have a mic always ready to go. I'll basically work on melodies, work on a lyric, and God knows I must listen to songs 100 times before I even have an idea. And then I'll rough demo it, and I'll send it to whomever. In this case, I'll send it to Jeff, and I'll have the song demoed. He listened to it and he'd go, love this, love this, love this. I would change that, blah, blah, blah. I'm back in off the road. I have 3 days. How many songs can we get done?
That's right, because you are busy on the road, still doing a lot of touring as a solo artist and with, I believe, Icons of Classic Rock. Correct me if I've got that wrong. Yeah?
Yes, Icons as well. And they just sent me a whole bunch of dates coming up for the middle of the year, which is fantastic.
And I trust our audience can find those at robinmccauley.com. Robin's personal headquarters online, robinmccauley.com. He does a lot of stuff with some of my favorite singers, Paul Shortino and the gang out there, keeping that classic rock imagery and iconic. It's just icons. It's iconic. Yeah. So
it's so much fun. You should come and join us.
I would take that. I'd take that gig in a heartbeat, man. Ex Black Sabbath. I could maybe find a spot for me at some point.
Yeah, it's really fun. And it's a huge production. I mean,
I know. I've seen the arena filled. It's like TSO on steroids, man.
It's really good. It's a lot of fun, and so that's what I do. It's very simple setup. I rough demo, send it back, and then there's a studio local to me that if it's not with Jeff for Black Swan, there's a studio I work with here in Thousand Oaks, and a vocal process for me is prep. I do a lot of prep. I map it out before I go in. I know what I want to do. And if I don't have a lead vocal down in like 2 hours, including all the background vocals, I'm wasting studio time.
Of course. The prep is a big part of it for guys like us. I want to be ready when I go in the studio. I've already demoed the song 10 times on my home studio. Here's the microphone. You can probably see if I put my hands in front of it.
I do see it.
I demo a song 10 times before I go in. So the recording process is one thing, but the writing process, Robin, when you get this music from Jeff and Reb, do you start with a blank slate? Or do you have a pile of notebooks with lyrics and song titles and things that you refer to? Yeah,
I wish. I don't, and I don't keep. And my wife always said, she goes, you must destroy so many sort of notes because you're scribbling all the time and changing it. I don't keep any of the stuff. I just don't keep it. I don't go back reference. I don't cross reference. I think if I don't use it, it mustn't be any good. I don't use it. And it's done and it's trash. Fill the trash can. So I don't have a notebook of old lyrics. I run the printer ragged, and I overprint. So I'll print and so I can record and I don't have to keep looking at the screen and that sort of stuff. And then once I'm done, it's done. I dump it.
Wow, because I have stacks of notebooks, and I will take a song title that I wrote down 20 years ago and bring it to life now. But we all have our own process, and certainly respect yours because whatever you're doing, it's working. It's working.
Yeah, sometimes I'm in the car, and the title will come.
Yeah,
and that's an interesting question because I know a lot of lyricists, singers, who usually can't start unless they have a song title. And that's usually the last thing that comes to me because I immerse myself into the music so much that the music will tell me what the title is. And I keep telling Reb, I said, you know that little section right there? That told me what the song should be about. And he goes, what section? And I went, right there. Do you hear that? Do you hear that little section right there? That's what gave me the inspiration for the song. And he goes, well, straight over my head. Because he's playing and he's formatting and he's doing whatever it is that he does. But I hear something. And then as I'm writing, I have no idea, Ron. I mean, I don't go into books and go, show me how to do this. I just start writing bullshit. I'll sit down with the laptop and I'll just be over the top of it, just finding my space in the trees. and then I'll start to work it together, and I'll keep listening to either what Jeff is playing or what Reb is playing, and together there'll be a word that'll just come right out at me and go, ha! There it is. There
I guess
it is.
that's why they call it talent, my friend. My goodness.
I don't know what they call it. It's like,
that's music in your heart and in your soul coming out in these melodic forms, and it's obviously working. You've done a number of solo shows recently in the last couple of years, and I know that last time we spoke, you were going to put some of the Black Swan and other material into those solo shows. How did that go? And bring me up to date on the live scene and what you're doing live. Black Swan has never performed as a band, correct?
That it never has performed as a band.
Wow.
Great question, because almost in the same amount of time, I have now 3 solos, 3 Black Swan, almost in the same 6-year period.
A lot of material, yeah.
I've never been so busy. So I took it into Europe, and the plan was that maybe I could incorporate some of, because there's plenty of material. And then the promoters came out of the clouds and they said, this is what we would like. We've seen you on stage with MSG, we've seen you do the festivals, and there's no McAuley Schenker Group songs included in the MSG set. And what we would like is those songs that you guys don't play live. And so they said, we would love some solo stuff. And then they went 40 years back into my period with Grand Prix out of the UK, and they asked for some of that as well. And I'm going, oh my God, this has never been performed outside of Grand Prix by any of us. And so I had to start learning that. And so I have a band in Italy that plays on my solo records. I have a band in Sweden called Gathering of Kings, a regular band. They love the McAuley Schenker period. They learn it like the record. It's like ridiculous. Yeah. And then I have another squad, as I call them, in the UK. So it gets very confusing because all the promoters want different stuff. So there's lots of different set lists going on. I'm going, where am I?
What a nice guy you are to cater to their wishes and give the promoters and the audiences what they want. I think and you were just there before I went there last time in South America. Our promoter, Rodrigo Scelza, and those Carlos Chironi. Yes. God bless Carlos. Animal Records in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Yes. And they sent me a song list before the tour. I go, hold on. No. Trust me. I just said, trust me. I'm going to give the audience what they want. It's going to sell out, and we're going to have all the fists in the air. And they were cool with it, but I know exactly. I probably was not as nice as you were.
They did the same to me. And they had come to Sweden Rock. They had come to Barcelona Rock, and there they are right there, and sort of waiting, and because they didn't get at the MSG shows what they really thought they were going to be hearing. I mean, they got all the MSG classics, of course, but they wanted something very specific from the McAuley Schenker period, didn't get it. And so they went, come to Brazil and please do it all. And then I got the same in England, and I got the same in Spain. I just did 2 great festivals, which are just now coming through again, Rock the Sun and Zurabon Festival. You have to do those. They're just amazing. And that was all about the solo stuff, McAuley Schenker period, and the Grand Prix stuff. And no, we didn't do any of the Black Swan stuff.
And to your credit, though, Robin, you can still execute and sing pretty much anything from your entire catalog. I have some of those supersonic high screams that I did in the 80s that are no longer in my vocabulary, so I have to be a little more selective about the material on the song list.
It's not easy. I mean, people go, oh, dude, I don't know how you do it. And I'm going, I don't know how I do it. It
comes from the heart, man.
Your voice is great. Yeah. Your voice is great. You have to take care of business.
Yeah.
It's not you don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this today. You go, am I?
Exactly. And we're all on a 1-day contract. I say that often in
That's a great
interviews
line.
and all that. Tomorrow's not guaranteed to any of us. We're on a 1-day contract. We have to make the most of our voice, our music, our songs, our friends, our family, our loved ones, everything we do every day. That's what matters today. And then if tomorrow comes, we'll tackle it when it gets here. So
Amen.
February
brother.
27th is coming shortly. It's worth the wait. The release date has been delayed a week, but February 27th, the brand new record from Black Swan, Paralyzed. Robin, what's next after this?
I will be heading to Naples in Italy in about 2 weeks' time. It's the 30th anniversary of Frontiers Music.
That's right.
And you were talking about Black Swan Live. Later in the year, I believe there's an LA event for the label, and they brought out the whips and the chains and the concrete shoes, and they said, "You will be doing this show."
They made you an offer you couldn't refuse.
You will be doing. So it's in actually serious conversation
That's
right now.
fantastic, man. I love all those guys. We have so many mutual friends, from Serafino and everyone at Frontiers to Paul Shortino and our Las Vegas family, and from Michael Schenker and Mitch Perry. My goodness.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
So many wonderful friends.
Yeah, and I've been asked to do, I'll be performing at Sweden Rock this year as well. They invited me in as a solo artist. I mean, goodness gracious.
Good for you, man. You deserve that. I can't wait to see and hear all about it. I can't thank you enough for your time, your music, your friendship, your energy, and your positivity through the years.
God bless you.
And being a friend of mine and a friend of the show and the station. Robin McAuley on KRFK Radio. Crank it up and keep it up. Live the rock!
Keep it loud.